Hello everyone, I'm here today to talk to you about the lunar eclipse coming up at the end of July. That's July 27th, 2018, and this lunar eclipse is happening in Aquarius, 4 degrees and 44 minutes, 444 of Aquarius, and this is gonna culminate at 4:20 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and then that would be 1:20 Pacific Daylight Time. And first of all, eclipses are faded. They have a faded quality. They have a quality of balancing our karma. They have a quality of putting things in our path that will be helpful in our process and our growth. And they also will take things away that we've outgrown and things that we don't need. And this is a south node eclipse. And the south node is like a vortex. It's a flushing. It's a flushing valve, and Mars has been on this south node for the whole month, so we should be getting clues here on what we know needs to go. And so yeah, it's a chance to get rid of stuff that feels limiting, and Mars is exactly conjunct the moon on this eclipse, and so we're gonna be feeling antsy, we're gonna be feeling fired up, we're gonna be ready to take action. Our desire nature is front and forward because Mars is retrograde, and anytime a planet is retrograde, it is closer to Earth, so that radio frequency is higher. Our desires are talking to us loud and clear, and it's time to get clear on them. And this eclipses show us things in a new light. The normal flow of light is distorted. We see things in a new way. We're so accustomed to the normal day-to-day, and then when the lights change, we see things that we didn't see before. We notice little things that we wouldn't have otherwise noticed. It's like when the lights go on after a movie, you see everyone again and you're like, whoa. Or, when the strobe light comes on and then it goes off, you're like, whoa. So it's a reorientating effect. And often, this is a full moon. It's a super powered karmic evolutionary full moon. That's what a lunar eclipse kind of is. So full moons are often peaking our emotional sensory side. But in Aquarius, and also with it being eclipsed, we can be much more objective over our feelings. So we can look at our feelings objectively, and if we're feeling frustrated because that Mars, we can have a better sense of stability as we kind of take stock and say, how can I strategize this better? And Mars and the moon, opposite the sun in Leo, squaring Uranus and Taurus. And Uranus has been in Taurus since May. And so the fixed signs are really getting shaken up here. So if you are a Taurus, a Leo, a Scorpio, or an Aquarius, this is just the beginning. Big, big changes for you. But Mars and Uranus have been talking for a while. This is all a part of Mars's retrograde pattern. And Mars square Uranus says, I do not want to be told what to do. I do not want to be boxed in. I am going to make a radical change. I'm going to break free from this limiting circumstance. I can't do it anymore. And if you haven't figured it out yet, or if you haven't figured out all the details yet, this lunar eclipse can offer you more clarity, more objective clarity on how to make these changes in our lives. Because again, Mars on the south node, and then this lunar eclipse on the south node is saying it's time to get rid of it. It's time to flush it out, and it's time for something new to come in. We're making room for new. And so that's on a personal level. On a collective level, seeing Mars tightly conjoined this lunar eclipse in Aquarius, it makes me a little bit nervous because Mars represents violence, frustration. Again, like I said, if you're feeling frustrated, it's because something needs to change. You're feeling too limited and blocked in your, Sun's in Leo, in the way that you shine in the world. And we all deserve to shine. It's our birthright. And so anyways, seeing this makes me a little bit nervous because Mars, again, frustration, it's also violence, it's combat, it's firearms, and You know, in this country, we have a problem with it. We have a pandemic with shootings, you know, in schools, and then police officers need a little bit more training. You know, we have issues with violence, and the gun conversation is front and center right now. And so when I see this, I get nervous, because on the last eclipse that we had in Aquarius, we had the shooting down in Florida, the school. And so, of course, I get nervous when I look at this, because I know that a lot of people in this country are feeling limited by their economic circumstances, and we need a really big change in this country. And we're witnessing the breakdown of the old order right now, and this eclipse is going to be a part of that somehow, some way. I mean, hopefully we don't have another, you know, shooting. Nobody wants that, but I look at this and I definitely see possibility of it, because we're not done having this conversation. And, you know, we're witnessing the breakdown of the old order. These are all fixed signs. Fixed signs are very stubborn. The United States moon is in Aquarius. The United States South Node is in Aquarius, right where it is now. The United States Pluto is in Capricorn. And we're about to have our Pluto return 250 years later. Very few countries survive this, if at all, but without changing. We need to radically change our ways in this country and how this country is run. And it's, you know, Mars on the South Node says it's time to be done with toxic masculinity. Get it out. We must heal it. You know, Jupiter's in Scorpio. It's time to heal. Uranus is in Taurus. It's time to live in better harmony with the earth. And, you know, Sun's in Leo. We all want to shine. We all want to be heard. And so, yeah, we're coming up on a Pluto return. That's going to happen in the year 2027. And so we're witnessing the total breakdown here. And so all the problems are being brought to the surface. Even before that, though, even before we get there, we're going to have the conjunction. This is for everyone, not just in the United States. We're going to have the conjunction of Pluto, Saturn, and Jupiter in Capricorn. This is going to happen in about 2020. And this is going to be huge, especially because the eclipses will then be happening in Capricorn and Cancer. And again, the United States is a Cancer. So right now, this is just the beginning. The next series of eclipses are going to bring more stuff to the surface, you know, not only in our personal lives, but in the country, for the country. And it's going to be huge. So very, very interesting. We should get more clues on what this eclipse is going to bring in for us personally about the week before, when Mars lines exactly with the South Node. But even here in this eclipse, everything's real tight. The moon is within a degree of Mars and the South Node on either side, so it's very tight. Other interesting things going on in this chart are Mercury is stationed. Mercury is stationing retrograde right now. This axis is getting lit up. I'm going to make another video on that. But Mercury standing still is like, pay attention. Like, really listen, so we can get that objective clarity that we need to make these necessary changes in our lives. Because we're all breaking free from something right now. Big changes for everyone, but especially the fixed signs. The other interesting thing going on in this chart is Venus is opposed Neptune. So this helps us remember the vision. What's our ideal vision? So Venus opposite Neptune can romanticize, it can idealize. So what are we really going after? And the other way, it can also kind of dramatize and make a mountain out of a molehill with a problem that we might have. But this might help us to make these changes because the problem's there, so we make a big deal out of it and you know, like in a fairy tale, like, oh, woe is me. And then we can make these changes. This can also, Venus opposite Neptune can also be a very spiritual aspect. It can ask us to call on divine guidance from our guides, from the universe, from a higher power, from God, from Goddess. We can ask for help with this aspect. And it can also romanticize the good things that we have. So it's about love. It's about honoring your partner, your friends, your community, whatever it might be. It's about recognizing what is ideal while we objectively change other things going on. So it helps us to stay true to our ideals and our vision. And yeah, so this is a really intense eclipse. I'm excited to see what it brings, but also, like I said, a little bit nervous. But I'm excited, especially for all the people in my life that have fixed signs. I'm really excited to see the growth and the changes that they make, because it's really harder for fixed signs to make changes, and we depend on them because we need stable people in our lives. And but it's beautiful to see them grow as well. So good luck on this lunar eclipse, and may the force of change be with you. Sat Nam.